Oi, oi, ewy! I'm not one to complain, but is this all there is to life? So I'm born, goo goo gaga, wow wow, for the first like 3 years. Then, against my will, I'm in school until 16 years old. Don't learn a thing, by the way, that I can use in my adult life, but it is what it is. 5 days a week, discipline, uniform, all that kind of stuff. Then I go 2 years, sixth form or college, whatever. You get to university. This is where it gets a bit more serious. You choose what you want to do in life and you go in depth for the rest of your life. That whole period. You're just waiting to get freedom and leave the system. You get into the system. Wallahi, you can't wait to go back because you leave and it's immediately work, bills, rent, responsibility, tax, national insurance, council tax. What's that? Oh, you got a car? Oh, hello, insurance, MOT, road tax. Then there's this thing called savings, but you never really see it. And then before you know it, oh, health is a thing I need to worry about. Oh, suddenly I'm fat. Gym. Oh, I don't have time for gym. Where is time? What is time? Then you have a burst of motivation, and that dies after maybe 72 hours because you have no energy. And then it's work, sleep, holiday. But then when you come back from holiday, you have no money. Oh yeah, you forgot that whole time you have friends that you haven't seen in about a year, relationships, family, and then it's work, sleep, death. But I've been reading a lot of books in the last 10 years and it has totally shaped how my 20s have been so far. So look, if you don't read books, I get it. That was literally me for most of my life. I avoided books like they were the plague. Like if there was a book anywhere near me, I avoided it. I was going the other direction. But then in my early 20s, I actually started reading, and I'm not even exaggerating, it completely changed my whole outlook on life. Now, I'm not sitting here pretending I've got everything figured out. I'm definitely not where I want to be yet, but I can say with confidence that if I hadn't read those books, I would probably be in a way worse spot mentally, financially, and just overall as a person. So this probably isn't going to be one of those videos that blows up or gets a million views, and that's fine. I just wanted to share some books that genuinely helped me because there's a ridiculous amount of value in them, you know? But before I do get started, we're approaching the end. I'm actually a couple kills away from the nuke with the buffed carbon 57. Oh my god. I think we only need one more kill. Maybe. No, we're on a 29 right now. Okay, and that's the... Oh my god. Of course, it's this ratty scumbag little piece of shite. Look at it, man. Yeah, let's get into it. The first book, and honestly my number one recommendation, is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This is one of those books where I genuinely think if schools forced us to read this instead of some depressing stuff like Of Mice and Men, anxiety and depression rates would probably drop by like 30% overnight, and I'm pretty serious. I didn't discover this book until my early 20s, which is when I really started reading, and it hit me like a truck. Even if you don't want to commit to reading the whole thing, just read the first 20 pages. You can find them online, and the entire book is built around this simple but insanely powerful idea. The only thing that actually matters is the present moment. The past is gone, it already happened, you can't change it. The future, your brain is basically just running a fan fiction simulator creating imaginary scenarios that may never happen. But right now, this exact moment, that's real. That's all you actually have. There's a part in the book where Eckhart says to stop for a second, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what problems do I have right now in this exact moment? And your brain instantly tries to cheat. It jumps to tomorrow's problems, next month's problems, that embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago that literally nobody else remembers. But if you really think about it, most of the time the answer is nothing. Like right now, in this exact second, there usually isn't some catastrophic issue happening, and if there actually is a real problem in the present moment, then you deal with it, you address it. That book completely changed how I think, and honestly, if I hadn't read it, I probably would have second guessed leaving my job. I would have gotten trapped overthinking every possible bad outcome, and I'd still be waiting or stressing over hypothetical situations that never even happened. And it's such a freeing thing to realize that 99% of the stuff you stress about isn't actually happening right now. So yeah, cannot recommend that book enough. It genuinely changed my life. The second book that I'm gonna tell you guys, I'll be like, oh, it's that one book that is popular over TikTok and Twitter and Reddit and all of that nonsense. But yeah, the second book is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Now I know this book has some kind of weird reputation. It's been labeled as this ultra douchey alpha bro handbook, like the kind of book a guy with a leased BMW or BMW and a suspicious amount of cologne keeps on his coffee table. And honestly, I get why people say that. There's definitely some manipulative stuff in there, some laws are straight up ruthless, but that's exactly why it's worth reading, because even if you're a good person and you never plan to use any of those tactics yourself, other people absolutely will use them on you. That's what made this book so valuable to me. After reading it, I started recognizing these behaviors everywhere, in work environments, friendships, social situations. You start seeing it all, and it's kind of terrifying. Human nature really hasn't changed much, and one of the coolest parts of this book is that Robert Greene uses historical examples for every law. We're talking people like Julius Caesar, Napoleon, Bruce Lee, just absolute legends. And as someone who likes history, that made the whole thing way more interesting. And you realize these tactics have been used for thousands of years and people are still pulling the same moves today, and now they're doing it through Slack messages and passive aggressive LinkedIn posts. And not all the laws are manipulative, some are genuinely useful life advice, like Law 4, always say less than necessary. That one alone can save you from so much unnecessary nonsense. And then there's Law 16, use absence to increase respect and honor. Basically stop being overly available. And Law 20, don't commit fully to anyone. That doesn't mean become some villain plotting in the shadows, it just means maintain independence. There's so much packed into that book that I could probably make 100 videos just talking about it. Definitely recommend it. But yeah, I didn't mean to call him that nuke, by the way. I was just lost in the sauce. But yeah, book number 3 is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. And this is Phil Knight's memoir about building Nike, and honestly, this book is incredible. What makes it so different from a lot of business books is how raw and real it feels, and a lot of entrepreneur books feel like they're written by some guy who was born rich, had 10 investors, lined up at birth, and now wants to lecture you about hustle. Phil Knight wasn't that. He wasn't some once-in-a-generation genius. He didn't have crazy connections. He didn't have rich parents handing him opportunities. He just had ambition and an insane refusal to quit. And this dude fails constantly, like so many times that it almost becomes funny. And you're reading it thinking there is absolutely no way this thing survives, and somehow it does. It really changed the way I think about risk. And a lot of my mindset around rejecting the safe path, taking chances, and not settling for some miserable routine definitely comes from this book. And what I love most is how authentic it is. There's no fake motivational corporate nonsense, no wake up at 4 AM and take cold showers while journaling your gratitude under a waterfall type of energy. It's just a real story about a guy getting punched in the face by life over and over again and refusing to stay down. Super inspiring. Now the next 2 books are fiction, and this was something I learned the hard way. For a long time I only read non-fiction because I thought fiction was a waste of time, and then I realized fiction can sometimes teach you lessons that hit way harder because you experience them through story. You could also say the same thing about anime like Naruto, DBZ. You can learn a lot by those characters there. But yeah, those two books completely changed how I think about society, work, the government, and basically the whole system. And the first is 1984 by George Orwell, and the second is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. If not, my bad, Aldous. Sounds like a Hogwarts professor name, Aldous. Wherever you are or whoever you are. But yeah, these books are old as hell, but somehow they've aged perfectly, and it's actually scary how relevant they still are. 1984 is about a world designed to keep people obedient, distracted, and controlled. Step out of line, question the system, think for yourself, and you get punished. Sounds familiar? Yeah. And then Brave New World takes a different angle. In that world, people are controlled through pleasure. They're engineered in labs, pumped full of instant gratification, and kept so comfortable and entertained that they never even think to question anything. And tell me that doesn't sound ridiculously relevant. Endless scrolling, constant dopamine hits, infinite entertainment, no individuality, no ambition, no deep thought, just consume, consume, consume. And the craziest part is these books were written way before the internet, social media, or smartphones, all of it. And somehow they predicted so much of what modern life feels like, and reading them makes you start questioning things, like a lot of things. I genuinely think these books changed how I view the world. I could probably make a whole series breaking down the lessons from them, but let's be honest, that would get like 12 views and at least 3 comments calling me insane. Still worth reading though. And yeah, I know this video probably won't get crazy traction, and I know talking about quitting jobs and escaping the 9 to 5 gets more clicks, but these books matter to me, and I didn't really know that there was a guy under there. I thought he was on top, man. God damn, he was on a brutal. But yeah, if even one person watches these, picks one of these up and gets the same kind of value I got from them, then making this video was worth it. There's so much value in books that we're not just getting from our phones. We're all out here doom scrolling ourselves into becoming brain dead little zombies, chimpanzee, banani, those brain rot shit, you know? And honestly, maybe we need to start doom reading instead. At least then your brain gets something useful out of it. Books have been such a huge antidote to all the noise. They've helped me a ton, and if you're hesitant to start reading, audiobooks are a great way to get into it. A lot of people start there because it feels familiar, kind of like listening to a podcast or a YouTube video, and that's totally valid. It's not cheating, it's just a different way to absorb the information. And personally, I like physically reading because it gets my eyes off a screen for once, you know? Like when I'm at work, I'm like on a laptop or computer 20 hours. When I get home, I'm on my phone or my iPad or whatever. So yeah, reading a book physically feels like a luxury these days, but everyone's different. And the biggest thing is just finding books that actually interest you, not what people tell you to read, not what looks smart on your shelf, or if you want to look performative, find what clicks for you. These are the books that clicked for me, and if there are any books that really changed your perspective or helped you level up in some way, definitely drop them below because I'm always looking for recommendations. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any books that I can read in the comments. But yeah, it's been your boy Adi. Yo.